before the December, there was a sharp increase. And then during the Yuletide, there was some kind of reduction, like twice. And then just after the new year, you had the fluctuations has just been there. And a few days ago, we learned Dangote Refinery has reduced the pump price, of fuel. I mean, in this case, PMS, popularly called petrol, to, be sold at 850 naira or thereabout in Lagos. And, in some part of the country with another set of price. And this is what we are seeing at this time. They gave their reasons to be that, to make life better for the people, and especially as the Ramadan is approaching. And I just are concerned to say, Mr. Dangote, thank you for that. But if actually some of these goodwill of yours, can we extend, if it's possible, that this price be reduced just because of something? Why can't it be reduced? In as much you can make your margin of gain, why can't the price be reduced and we maintain it instead of just occasional price reduction, towards goodwill and all of those things? This is a nation. We have with us today an investment expert, and he's an economist, a friend of the house, I dare say, quite a while, Mr. Yose Asheda. Good morning, sir. Good to see your handsome face again.
Thank you. Same here. Happy to be here.
And I dare say Happy New Year, although in February.
Yes,
all right.
Sir.
Yeah, you had my introduction. These fluctuations and occasional intervention of goodwill that result in reduction, and it seems we are not even sure of what is happening. Dangote Refinery has said, because of the Ramadan, making life better for the people, let me further reduce the price of fuel. And I just would say, if you can do that, because we know you can't do that at loss. If it's possible that you can do that and you still have some level of margin of gains, why can't we as a nation have this price reduction, permanently? Or it doesn't work that way?
Honestly, this is very interesting because the last conversation that we had together, we actually talked about this.
Yes.
The Senate, the legislature, have an oversight over the whole of the Nigerian polity, including the economy and the industry. Okay, so we all, we raised the issue of.
All right, Mr. Asheda, if you are still there, okay, we'll try and reconnect with him. And, that's what they say, technology.
Right.
All right. Please go ahead, sir, Mr. Asheda.
Okay. So, we're making the point that the House must be able to, to try to find out the cost structure for Dangote Refinery. You understand? To find out, okay, how much is it that cost them to do these things? They are the Senate, they are the legislature. They have that right. Okay, every legislature all over the world have that right. So I've said this that refinery is perhaps the first of its kind in the world, or the best of its kind in the world. Okay, that it is possible for that refinery to sell at 250 naira.
How?
Really? Yes. No, it is it has the longest train in terms of refinery in the world. Is the biggest of its size in that is the biggest in the world in terms of that. What it means is that per unit volume of petroleum crude, that refinery is capable of extracting to the last drop of product that's inherent in a crude in a unit volume of crude. Do you understand? What I'm saying is that for all the you can remove kerosene, petrol, diesel, this, that, different kinds of useful stuff, from the crude. That refinery is capable of doing that. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So unlike most refineries in the world. So that's what I mean by production efficiency. It is perhaps the most efficient refinery anywhere in the world. Now, I said that this is not the first time Mr. Dangote is going to be involved in industrial investment as this one. We talked about the cement factory. And, I made a joke, and it is true. It's not just joke. My first plane, he paid for it. The first time I'm riding the plane, he paid for it. From Lagos to Abuja and back again. En route Obajana, when they started the Obajana cement factory. I told you that time that cement factory is better by far than the ones in Europe, in terms of the pollution and emission standard of EU, which is very high. That refinery beats it hands down. And I also mentioned the fact that when we were touring the refinery, I was at the business school that time, in Lagos Business School, when he's a friend of the house at Lagos Business School. And so he took all of us out to come and see the cement factory. And I can tell, I told you that the payback period for that cement factory was 3 years, but that cement factory had paid back in 1 year. That's the kind of businessman that Aliko Dangote is. Okay, so for that refinery to be selling at 850 or 825, because I understand that yesterday he further reduced it to 825 or thereabout, just yesterday, on Wednesday. Okay, on Wednesday. So on Wednesday afternoon. So what we're saying basically is that you see that refinery is capable of doing that. So for it to be selling at 825, he's just been a businessman, okay? But I know that we also know that every business is held accountable. The biggest business, the businesses that are bigger than his, Microsoft, Meta, and so on, are held accountable in the US, their country of origin, and in the EU, okay, by the Senate and by the legislature, which is part of their their function, okay. They are supposed to do that. So all this one that we're talking about, I don't believe it. Now you see, part of my people talked about it yesterday that, oh, okay, so he's reducing it and try to freeze out all those people who are trying to do importation into the country, and then afterward is going to increase the prices up again. That has been is modus operandi in sugar and then what salt. So especially in sugar. So this is, you can quote me on it. The sugar part, it was exactly the same thing he did with sugar that got him to trouble with Abacha's son, because Abacha's son also wanted to imported sugar, and he dropped his price and put Abacha's son's investment to trouble, and then he ran out of the country. Please quote me. Now what we're saying is that we already this. I'm not excited about it, okay, because I know that refinery could actually do that. So we could get a lower prices than 800. I'm saying that we could get as low as 350 from that refinery.
Thank you. You are saying, in essence, that one or two, three talking points. One, to say, because of the size and the efficiency of that refinery, possibly one of the best in the world, we Nigerians can get more than that in terms of pricing. That's number one. Number two, and you are saying the government, by especially the legislature at the national level, if actually they are efficient with their oversight, Nigerians could get a better deal. And number
Yes.
three, and that this goodwill of his to say because of Ramadan, let's have a reduction, is just to outmuscle his competitors. One will say he has no competitor at the moment, except for the NNPC, and maybe for the Rabiu Samad refinery that is yet to even kickstart. So who is he outmostly, or are you talking about importers?
I'm telling you, Nigeria is still importing. Yeah,
yes,
so
okay, importers.
So yes, the importers. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. He has been very vocal about import and telling the Nigerian government to cancel import. And the thing is, that's an opportunity. If he's asking for something, you can demand for something in return. Okay, the problem that we have in Nigeria is that our government, we are not proactive, and that's the truth. The Nigerian government is not proactive. I cannot see this kind of situation happening in America or Trump's America, for example. I dare say, because it's going to, okay, you want me to stop these people? Okay, bring out your cost structure. Let's see it. Let's audit it. Let's get down to the table and let's look at it. Okay? And let's look at, and then we determine what should be the fair value. Do you understand? Or what you should import. What the prices that you should sell.
Okay.
So these are things that are possible. It's not like it's impossible. But I think that our government are not waking up.
Our government is not waking up. What would you have the government do about this? Dangote Refinery is a private-owned business. What can the government do about this exactly?
I think I've mentioned that already, and I mentioned examples of companies around the world who had been held accountable. Microsoft, Facebook, to mention a few.
Okay.
Do you understand? Who have been held accountable by the legislature concerning their pricing. You understand? Because the pricing of Dangote, you understand, and how he's doing his pricing, is tending towards monopoly, and that's what we're saying. So it's not a rocket science. It's something that needed to be done. And I honestly, even Mr. Dangote is able to listen to what we're saying right here. I know some people, your investment, bankers such as myself, probably will be telling him, okay, yeah, go ride on, because they probably want to get their money back in record time. But this is not just there's a responsibility. There's responsibility that's attached to businesses. Okay, so that responsibility, he has that responsibility. Because you're a business and it's private owned, that does not mean that you should be taking advantage of your people or situation in your economy to the detriment of the larger population. So this is exactly what we're saying. There's a level of morality and ethics around these things, and I think that the Nigerian legislature, the Senate and the House are in the right place to be able to call this, to call it out, even the executive. So they have the right to call it out. And if they're not doing that, I don't know what you're doing. Okay.
I think from where you're coming from is that Dangote is gradually gearing towards monopoly, which leaves us back to the economy or the country or our leaders to say that if the country can actually get its own refinery that is government owned, I think we're going to be able to avert some of these things, because from what you said, you outlined some history saying when he started with salt and sugar, things like this, similar things like this happened, and you particularly said that you're not excited about this.
He did that with us with cement also. He did that with cement also.
Okay.
Okay. So listen, this is, we are business professionals. We study these things. When we was doing those things, we were at the business school and we're looking at it. Honestly, as a business, a professional, I do not like his business model, because again, it's like you're freezing out others so that you can take control. That has been his style over the years. Now, what I'm also saying, for his own sake, energy is too big for you to control like that. It's not salt, it's not sugar, it's not cement. The energy keeps any economy in the world moving. So if he has done that with salt and sugar and cement, and he seems to be getting away with it, and I can tell you he's not going to get away with it with the energy. Now, let's just sit down and watch, because this thing is going to come back to bite him in the ass if he does not rearrange or change his model. Now I will tell you. Now, I've mentioned that refinery has two advantages.
Okay.
Two advantages that are difficult to beat. Now, you cannot blame him from being able to do that. Okay, it has two advantages, and the Nigerian government, allowed that. And now we are sitting on this side. We can tell what's going on. Okay, I will tell you the two advantages. Number one, the production efficiency of the refinery, so that it can get more out of a unit volume of crude. Okay, and number two, it has the volume advantage. They call it economies of scale, which also further both economies of scale and production efficiency. What the two of them does is to drop your cost, is to increase the margin between your cost and your revenue, is to widen it. Now, see, these two, it has those two advantages together. I can never blame him for doing that. But what I'm saying is that it has to be responsible. Do you understand? It has to be responsible. And I can bet you this price that he has done is going to move up. If by the time he puts all those Ipman and the rest of them into trouble, those ones will go out of business, or they will struggle to get back and begin to buy from him. And then afterward, it's going to increase the prices.
Quick one.
Please quote me on that.
Quick one. Mr. Sheda.
So what I'm saying is that,
now
my point, please, quickly, let me make that point quickly. Now, the government refineries, whenever they come online, cannot have those two advantages. Do you understand? They cannot compete with Dangote Refinery on the basis of production efficiency, and neither do they have the volume to give them the economies of scales. You understand? The economies of scale. So those two is going to mitigate against government refinery competing with him on the basis of cost of production, and by extension the prices.
All right.
So that's what we're saying. But however, the House of the Senate and the legislature at the federal level have the rights, and I'm saying they have the right to call him in and sit him down and say, okay, you know what, we want to know this, we want to know this, we want to know that.
All right.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And then he has the right to answer them.
All right.
And then they can negotiate
using your logic
concerning that.
You have said maybe one of his intentions for this price reduction is to outmuscle or to make the importers to have a rethink. And one will say, because we have severally from different persons on this program, say, isn't it more like sabotage? Although it's not illegal, it might not be illegal, that you have an indigenous company, and the man has said, that's Dangote himself, that what he's producing, and he has called and dare anybody that care to know to come for testing, that he's producing one of the best qualities of fuel in the world. And so why will importers, retailers in Nigeria leave an indigenous company that is producing in Nigeria? The crude is from Nigeria and he's doing his business in Nigeria, just right there, at the Eco-Atlantic or, on the island in Lagos, and they will prefer to import from outside of the country. How is it not sabotage of privately owned business or the indigenous business in Nigeria? And if the man is saying, I'm going to make your business bad for you, I'm not going to touch your business, I'm just going to give Nigerians what will make them come to my side, without, can we say that is a bad deal, or will it be illegal to protect his business and say, I will mess up the price so that you guys will be forced, you know, to buy from me? You know, he has said it severally, and he still said it, I think, when he received a delegation from, you know, either Uganda or Tanzania, I can't say, and he told the people, I have enough to supply Nigeria and even the continent. There was a time that he said he has over, you know, more than 500 million liters. So why will indigenous company be preferring to import from outside and they won't want to buy from him? And if he takes this step, Femi, will you blame him?
Femi, you know what? Let me tell you something. This is one of the reasons I said that whatever Dangote is doing right now is going to come back in the house to come and bite him. Maybe next year, maybe 2 years from now, maybe 4 years from now. Listen, there are different players in the industry. We do not have to agree with anybody. Nobody is obligated to agree with anybody. Dangote is doing business. Those people are also doing businesses.
Right.
Okay. When you're having different players in the industry, there's something. It's competition. Do you understand? There's a level of envy there. Okay, which is one of the basal human, you know, emotion and feeling and behavior. Do you understand? Which is something that Mr. Dangote is not paying attention to right now. If those people can't go out to say, okay, does he think he's the only one? Okay, we can bring fuel into the country, and then, you know, by way of import. Nothing stopped them from doing that. And then they do that. Okay? So at some point, if that stops, what makes you think that they too cannot say, okay, you know what? We want to build our own refinery. Okay? So I believe there are 1 or 2 refineries that are already in the works right now. Okay? So, and when you have that, when you have that kind of situation, definitely there will be, you know, a face-off at some point. Right. And I can tell you that the government at some point, somebody will, you know, I've said these things before many years ago, like 6 years ago, 5 years ago, when we are still talking about these refineries, when it's still at maybe foundation level and all that. We know the plans. So what I predicted was that, you know, one of the strategies that Dangote uses is that he plays with the government in power.
All right.
I knew he was going to get it wrong at some point and get into trouble with the government in power.
All right.
So, and I didn't expect it to be this early. Do you understand? Because it's one of those points that I made in the article that I wrote some years back concerning that refinery. So, all right. And suddenly he found himself in the fish waters just last year.
Interesting.
President Tinubu. You know, and they are just trying to manage the situation.
All right.
Okay, especially because he's in a critical industry, and then, you know, the industry is in that is working on right now. This you know, this refinery is one of the things that's required to stabilize the policy of this present administration. I'm sure that's why they are tolerating it.
Right.
But I can tell you, there will come a time that it will be a major face-off. Okay, right. So, but it's better that he is on the right side of the people. You understand?
All right.
Than you understand, for him to be alone. So for me, my advice, and I can tell you, is that this thing is going to happen in the future. Energy is too big, too important to be controlled by one man. Right. Because the way he's set up is going to be the one controlling it in Nigeria.
Right. Thank you very much.
The Senate is not doing anything about it.
All right. He is an economist and, of course, very senior investment expert. Jose Ashada, thank you for your time and take this morning. And, you know, based on what you have said, in all of this, we hope Nigeria as a country and Nigerians will win. Thank you very much.
Nigerians will win, really, honestly.
Right. Thank you very much.
At the end of the day.
Do enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome. We switch gears right now. When we come back from this break, we move to the state of excellence, where something excellent, not excellent rather, has happened. Stay with us.